You should be barricaded in your house and kept off of the street, or sterilized, lobotomized, left in a car in heat. Cause the things you say and do tell me your brain cells are with you, and that is why I hate you.
Yeah, so I gotta go see a gastroenterologist now. I'm really excited about that.
Always fun.
Maybe he'll remember me this time. We were just talking about how I saw it in the past, and maybe I'll go see the same one and he'll remember me.
He's probably not going to remember you from the last appointment, but he's definitely going to remember you from randomly seeing him out and then calling out, "Hey, you were in my ass!" Like in front of his kid.
I'll get there and he'll be like, "Yeah, I don't remember you." And I'll be like, "All right, hold on." I'll bend over, pull down my pants, and he'll go, "Oh, yeah, I remember that one."
Unless you have for some reason, a very memorable ass, I don't see how that would work out.
Well, I do, man. I had a hemorrhoidectomy 6 years ago on St. Patrick's Day. It was my 6-year Assiversary.
Are you saying your anus looked like a star constellation?
Yeah, basically. All I know is my wife constantly tells people that, oh yeah, the doctor said they were the hugest hemorrhoids he's ever seen.
I can see her saying that so chipper. Like,
yeah. They're gone now. They lasered them off. In fact, the other day, we had to bring my son to get his stitches out, and I had to bring my daughter with us, which was also terrible. It wasn't as bad. He was just going, instead of like begging for help, he was just going, ah, 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 ah.
And for those at home, his son has a very monotone, like if monotone wasn't a sound and was a physical aspect, that's like what he just has this very neutral face usually.
Yeah, he does, yes.
So just to imagine this little kid with like this very neutral face all of a sudden opening his eyes and mouth and screaming and stopping.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't begging at least for help or anything, and my daughter wanted to stay in the waiting room, so I asked the receptionist if she could hang out with her. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, I'll get her a coloring book. I was like, could you hear him in there? And she's like, yeah. Yeah, I heard him. But she started asking me about stitches, and she was like, did you ever have stitches? And I said, oh yeah, I had stitches twice. I had surgery twice and needed stitches. And she was like, did you feel them when they took them out? And I was like, well, I don't really remember the first time when I was young, I had it's like mutant. I had these mutant teeth in my gums, like
the ones that
we talked about that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't. No, I think me and you have talked about it.
They were like, it's almost
like teeth on top of your teeth in the front.
Oh, no, not even that. There were like little pieces of teeth, like weird malformed little tiny like bony little things. They weren't teeth shaped. They were like little stringy pieces of teeth that were just in my gums. Almost like
God.
It's almost like the cells.
Sickles?
Yeah, basically, it's almost like the gums the gum cells like morphed into teeth cells in some areas by accident. So I had to cut them all out. So I had stitches then. Then when I had my butt sewn up, those were dissolving cells. And she was like, Did you feel when they took them out? And I was like, well, I said, those ones were dissolving, but when I went to get checked out, there was, I guess, one left, and he had to yank it out of my ass. So I told her, I was like, I was bent over a table, and he just yanked it out.
Buddy, you share way too much with your kids.
I know, I did. Well, she asks a question, I answer. She
asked. You didn't have to answer it like an autistic person. Like, there's context.
I try to be super, super open with my kids. They ask questions, I try to answer. Oh, well, did we talk about this before? She actually asked me what the N-word was the other day because it came up in I don't remember.
I believe we did go through this. I think we did talk about this.
Yeah, it came up again. She asked me again, and I was like, I'm torn because my logic brain goes, context is important. If I'm just telling her in the context of this is a word that's bad, we don't use it, then that's one thing. And that's different than me using it in a hateful way. So I should be able to say it. And then I was like, but I'm also not going to say it to my daughter. Tell her, like, what now? I can't remember why it came up. It was, I think I was watching a Seinfeld episode or something, and they said the N-word in it, and she was like, "Oh, it was 30 Rock. It was 30 Rock." We started watching 30 Rock.
Seinfeld. I think that only happened on stage with Kramer.
Yeah, that was well, and he didn't say the N-word. He said the N-word. Yeah, that's right. It was an episode of 30 Rock. That's what because we started watching 30 Rock from the beginning again, third time through because I decided it's my favorite comedy of all time, and I don't know. We started watching it again. She was watching. She was enjoying it. She thought it was great because the very first episode is about them bringing Tracy Jordan into their stage show. Tracy Jordan. His name Tracy Morgan is the character. in the
Oh,
show. Tracy Jordan is the actor that plays the character Tracy Morgan. I'm sure
whoa,
they were
are
like,
you saying that in reverse? Tracy Morgan plays
right,
Tracy
plays
Jordan.
Tracy Jordan. Yeah.
You
I
said
don't know. I keep mixing. It's so, that's why they did it on the show. They were like, he's crazy. He's not going to know who we're talking to if we don't make the name very close to his name. But the first episode is great because they're just introducing his character and they're like, I forget. Like, we're worried. Oh, they were worried he was going to say it live on the air or something. That's what it was because it's a live show. And they show him, they're like, isn't that the guy who did this? And then they show him running with just underwear on through the streets with a lightsaber toy going, I'm a Jedi! I'm a Jedi! She thought it was great. She loved it. And then she was like, when are we going to watch that show again? I want to find out what happens to their show when they bring the rich guy on who's crazy. So anyway, so now she wants to watch it. So anyway, I'm not excited about having to go to see yet another type of doctor. I feel like they're just, you know what, you're probably right. They're just making money. They're going to just send me to each other. Next one's going to send me to a urologist. And
when I had to have my appendix taken out, that's what they did before they decided, oh, it's because your appendix is bursting. They just sent me to a bunch of different doctors, and like some knew what it was and others didn't. I think I've complained about it before, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But mentioning stitches, which is really funny, I had one stitch and I did not know that I had the stitch. And because when you have a gut, there's a little underside right before your fupa starts. And I had a tube going into my stomach with a bulb that I had to clean out for like a week or two. And so I could feel the suction of the bulb, like pulling everything out, because in the pleural space, you leak into that. And there was a stitch that held it into place, a single stitch that they stitched into my pelvis right under my stomach. And my stomach area, but I didn't know that there was a stitch there. And but I knew when they took it out. Well, not the stitch wasn't the worst part either. It was them pulling the tube that was coiled into my stomach.
Yeah, that sounds like it wouldn't be fun.
But I realize I make funny noises when I'm in weird visceral pain. Like I thought I would do like a high pitched scream or something, but I just went, oh. That's my only noise I would make. Like I was doing like a death metal growl.
You're like, oh, pulling out the stitches. You were part of Sphincter Mucus, the death metal band.
Yeah, Death Clock.
Man, I wish they'd bring that show back. I goddamn loved that show.
You know what? It's probably not going to be done right, so I'd rather it just because it was starting to peter off like
a little bit, yeah. But it was right up my alley, man. It was like just that dumb bullshit humor. It was about a metal show, and I'm just like, I saw Death Clock.
And the talent was amazing.
Yeah, I saw Death Clock in concert a couple times. I met those dudes, the dudes in the that were part of the
Stephen Little
Brendan,
or something like that.
No, Brendan Small. I met Brendan Small. I went to one show, and my buddy knew one of the people that was like working promo for the show, so we got to go and meet them after him and Mastodon they played with. So I got to meet Mastodon too. Is one of my favorite bands.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they put on a great show. It was cool because like they just had the cartoons playing in the background while they played in the front, like no spotlights or anything. It was just the cartoons were behind them as they were playing. It was really good. It was fun. I saw them a couple times. That was back when I went to go. Used to actually go to shows. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah, my social anxiety makes concerts and stuff a nightmare.
Well, I don't think I told you this. We had gotten tickets for Bill Burr. Did I tell you about this?
No, I don't believe so. As much
we
as
got Bill.
Talked about Bill Burr.
My wife got me Bill Burr tickets over the summer at Bethel, the big amphitheater near here.
Okay.
And we went, and I don't know, like 20 minutes into his set, I was just like, I got to get out of here. I was like, we got to go. And she's like, what's that? It was just like, it was the first time I think we really went out after COVID.
Okay.
Like first time we were at like a real event, like a thing. And I don't know, there's just so many smells, and it was so loud, all these different noises, all these people talking, and like the lady next to me is just coughing constantly and kept bumping me with her arm. And I was just like, I got to get out of here. I was like, I'm freaking out. Like I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, I can't sit here like this. I can't do it. So we left.
Wow.
And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I don't know if it was I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the delay of COVID, just jumping right back into it. I mean, I felt like a little bitch afterwards. Like, did I really just leave this show that I wanted to go to because I was freaking out a little bit?
You know, with COVID, I found it really funny. How people that are like socially awkward or have really high social anxiety and are hermits, now that COVID happened and everybody had to quarantine and everybody else became paranoid, everyone was like, the hermits were like, yeah, welcome to my world, bitch. This is how life feels like for me. And then all of a sudden, now we're the ones going, God, you're acting like this is the first time. Fucking get over it. Go away. We want our alone time now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, I was like, I didn't mind the COVID lockdown because I was just, I like being at home. I don't like going anywhere. I was happy to have a reason to stay at home. I'd work from home, so I didn't have to worry about that. I mean, it was just like, oh, cool. I have a reason to be home all the time now and not do anything,
yeah, it worked
which
out
is
for
sad,
you.
I guess.
No, COVID worked out really great for you and like our mutual
A
friend
couple
Chris.
people,
It worked out
yeah,
really
not
great for him.
everybody. Obviously, most people, it was horrible.
I changed jobs like 3 times. Worked the entirety. I was initially, when it first hit, I was a pharmaceutical tech. And it was just, and like I went from pharmaceutical tech to a warehouse worker for FedEx to, and mind you, I didn't get fired from any of these jobs, which
It
is
was
the
just
weird
all
thing.
just laying people off.
So with the pharmaceutical tech, CVS, and fuck them for this, decided they were going to start admitting people for COVID exams without
Okay.
giving us proper PPE, without.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and mind you, we didn't know, nobody knew anything about COVID. There were already people that come to the store with it.
That makes no
And now we're
sense.
advertising to have them brought here without us being prepped. They sent the GM, the DM up to give us a fucking pep talk, but no
Like,
real
hey guys,
answers, no.
all these sick people with this disease we don't know anything about are going to come in here
Yeah.
and you're going to have any protection, but we're going to buckle through it. I don't know
Yeah,
what the phrase is.
and
That
the way
buckle
they
through?
would have us do is have people go up to the drive-through. You know how they have that like that turnstile like tray.
Yeah.
They would
Yep.
We would put the stuff in there. It would turn the tray, give it to them. They have to do it themselves, and we can't make sure that they're doing it right. Then we have to bring
Right,
the
of course.
sample in and do the whole test thing while they're waiting in their car outside of the window. Mind you, we're all on top of each other, still dealing with customers in the store. Some of them, since it was advertised so unclear, people were coming out and going into the fucking store. And mind you,
of course.
masks were not really a requirement around this time.
Right.
And
that is unbelievable.
And we were already dealing with people acting like assholes. There was no toilet paper, no pulse oximeters.
No toilet paper for the assholes.
Yeah, no pulse oximeters. We had one bitch, while we're dealing with one customer, get out of her car and start yelling at us through the booth because they closed down the store because another idiot with COVID, knowing they had COVID, came into the store, so they shut down the main part of the store to sanitize it. But
How'd they know he had COVID?
Because they got it, were sick.
No.
Were supposed to pick up their medicine and walked into the store as opposed
to get his COVID medicine.
Yeah, as opposed to.
And they were like,
coming through the drive-thru.
So he walks in and goes, "Can I have my COVID medicine for my COVID, please?"
And they shut down the whole front part of the store, so the store is closed except the pharmacy is still open, just drive-through.
I hate people.
And so this woman comes out and was just like, "Can I get batteries?" I'm sorry. Like,
at the booth?
And mind you, she's yelling at us. She didn't even ask. And she wasn't the customer that we were helping. She got out of her car and stood in front of the person we were helping in the turnstile booth to yell at us.
Just in between. We're closed. Go to Amazon, bitch.
Yeah. I mean, like, there are other stores. Batteries are not that commodity. Like that rare of a
any grocery
right
store
now.
you can go to.
So
oh my god,
she
man! Do you remember those early days? How bad it was, though.
Oh, it was
like, with just everything.
It was
like,
absurd.
Crazy.
It was comically absurd.
It was absurd. It was comically absurd how unprepared everybody was. I mean, from top to bottom.
Whenever we watch like disaster movies and people talk about the unrealisticness of it, and the movie does really bad or something, like, no, because we prove every time when COVID happened, when any kind of disaster. If there's a power outage, people lose their fucking shit.
Oh yeah,
If it
absolutely.
rains, for some reason, most of the people on the road just forget how the rules of the road work.
Yeah, everybody goes, "Oh, it's raining. I gotta go super slow.
I guess I got to drive with my butt cheeks and just fucking don't know how to fucking drive, cut you off. So if anything goes even remotely wrong, I just believe people are just going to start shitting the bed instantly. Just go
absolutely.
go full Simple Jack.
Right? Yeah, no, there's just no way we're prepared for any major events.
At fucking all. And mind you, I'm not a survivalist. I know that about myself. But I know I have enough common sense to not buy up all the fucking toilet paper. And not to use up all the toilet paper I have in my house. And find alternatives.
That's one of the funniest things. Where did that even come from? Why are people like, I need to get... Did they think they were going to shit themselves silly? I don't think that...
I don't even think that was a symptom of COVID.
That's what I was going to say. COVID didn't have like massive bowel movements as a symptom. Why were people buying shitloads of toilet paper? Literally.
It only really became... It really showed how weak the economy is because they created a... what is it? It's like a false need, like an artificial need.
Yeah.
Because you get people who would buy up this resource and then resell it for a high price, and those were really the people who were pushing it, and it was feeding the panic that other people were having on top of that, and just became
oh my god, why is it so expensive?
And then I
have to get it if it's so expensive. It must be needed.
Yep, it must be manufactured or distributed fast enough. There was just no fucking way it was going to happen.
You know what's scary too? Like, if it happened again now, it would be the same fucking thing. The exact same thing. It wouldn't be any different.
We saw it happen. We would just do the same fucking thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any different.
I didn't run out of toilet paper in my house.
Yeah, neither did I.
We were literally scared we were going to because people were buying it up. But my wife is...
I had a bidet, so we were
I know,
we were at half
you just like rub your butt against like the water in your toilet and you're fine. But
no, it's fresh. It's not the water in the toilet. It's fresh
it's
water.
Recycled toilet water. Don't lie to me.
No, it's not. It doesn't come out of the toilet bowl.
I would dare you to drink from the toilet bowls just simply because, but I'm afraid you would take that shit
from the bidet. You mean?
Yes.
No, because here's the problem. When it's spraying your ass, I'm pretty sure the shit particles run down the stream to the nozzle.
So it's still just as dirty as being.
That's why it has a nozzle cleaner. It's got a nozzle cleaner mode.
Toilet might as well be toilet water. So
well, no, I used to. Shut up! Stop ruining my bidet. Why are you ruining this for me? I remember. I remember when I was a kid. They had Nickelodeon had this contest where they had like kids try to invent stuff. And
my god!
Kid won with this invention that was like a sink and bathtub system that recycled the water into the toilet bowl to use it for flushing, so that it was literally using the water twice instead of just using fresh water. That's what I was just thinking. I thought this a while back, like years ago. I thought, like, what happened to that? That was a fucking great idea. I can
imagine that somebody or some company bought out the patent and squashed it like the electric car.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the water powered car.
Yeah. Or the hydro powered car. Yeah.
Just the hydro powered car.
Just fucking just like, nope.
I remember when I was like
working. Fuck that.
15. When I was 15, my uncle was telling me about that. He's like, they invented a car that could run on water. Yup. Yeah. All you had to do is put water. Yeah. And then the corporations or the government and somebody squashed it and they hit it so that the oil companies could keep making money. So, and I was like, I'm 15.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I still think flying cars are a viable way of getting around at this point in my life. So just
I saw a video recently of a prototype flying car. It was basically a hovercraft. It had 4 hovercraft propellers on it, and it was all GPS navigated, so that the driver didn't do anything. It was just
okay. Let's see how well that works.
Well, I mean, I think that's better.
Point A to point B within a mile. And I still wouldn't trust it.
It was like 30 minutes of flight time, but I'd rather that than human drivers out there.
I would absolutely, like, first of all, I was thinking you would need not only a driver's license, but then a pilot's license. 2, bad weather just fucks flying cars.
Well, you'd be fucked, yeah.
Right. There would not work. But lastly, I go back to it rains and people forget how to fucking drive.
Yeah, I
Like
guess you're right. I mean,
a
it would
flying,
have minimal use case. And what are we all going to do? Have a regular car and a flying car?
yeah,
That's just,
just
it's not practical.
although
Most people can't afford a regular car, you know?
although the one good thing iRobot ever did was introduce the car with the spherical tires. I thought that was cool.
Wait, what?
The movie
I don't remember
iRobot,
this.
the cars in the movie, they have spherical tires. So the tires are basically magnetic balls inside of the car.
Right.
So it could go in any direction and you don't have to worry about like a tire going out or
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, when you said iRobot, I immediately thought of the Roomba company because that's the parent company of Roomba.
I
And
did
I was
not know that.
I was trying to figure out when they made a car, but then you said iRobot. I don't remember that from the movie though.
Because the movie was terrible. Well,
Yes, the movie was
it was
very
weird
terrible.
because
I don't know that I
like
ever saw
iRobot,
it as a.
but I like
Well,
it
I don't
in
think
concept, I think.
did you like the book?
Like do
Would you read the
robots
book?
dream of electric sheep or something like that?
Whatever it is. Yeah, the Asimov,
I
I
read that
believe.
I read that a really long time ago. I remember
I don't
being
think I ever read it.
bored by it, but I feel like I felt that same boredom I felt in iRobot. I felt like iRobot was really boring, and a lot of it didn't make sense because it was trying to move too fast, and it was a Will Smith vehicle. That's what it was going to be.
Well, of course, yeah. You put him in a movie.
But
Well, then
I like the
I was gonna say you.
concept. I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say you could put him in pretty much any movie, and it ended up making money though at that time period.
Absolutely.
Not anymore, but
But I like the
not
idea
even the
of,
slap.
like,
What was the movie he did with his kid?
oh,
The hell was the name of that movie? Planet Earth?
oh,
Something Earth?
After
Earth.
Earth. That was the second movie he
Yeah.
did with him because The Pursuit of Happiness was the first one, and that's the one
Yeah,
where
but
people
that
like,
was good.
Jaden
That
can
did well.
act, and then
Yeah, but that was
After
a
Earth
decent
came,
movie.
and he went, Jaden can't act.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think Jaden had to do a lot. I didn't. That was Jaden in Pursuit of
Yeah,
Happiness.
that was Jaden.
I didn't realize that. I don't think I even
No,
realized
he was
it.
able to cry. He inflected, which he just doesn't do now. I don't know what the fuck happened to his brain, but he does not inflect.
Well, he's a kid. So
Kid
like,
actors
you
don't
can make a kid
inflect.
cry.
That's not
Yeah, but you
easy.
can make a
Kid
kid
actors are notoriously bad.
Kids cry about everything, though. It's easy to make a kid cry.
Not
You want them?
not when it's acting.
Yeah, you do. You just go.
As easily as you can
pinch
make
it.
your daughter cry, I want you to make her act, and then make her
Just-
act cry.
I'm not saying acting. But like people look at acting and they see crying. They're like, oh, it's such a good actor. He's crying. You just go up to the kid, and pinch him. They're just start crying.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm just saying.
It's like talking to a caveman that has really good diction.
Do you ever play that caveman word game? Oh, it's a good game. Poetry for Neanderthals.
No.
We got to play that next time you come over.
All right.
It's like I forget the topic, but you have to explain something with like only using 2 or 3 letter words. You can't use words bigger than 2. It's fun. Yeah, we'll play it next time you come over. I don't know why we haven't played it yet because I've had it.
Because you
for a
said
while.
caveman word game, I was like, please don't be like Scrabble. I suck at Scrabble. I hate Scrabble.
Caveman word game. Scrabble is the fastidious. Wait, is that the right word?
I don't
fastidious
know.
mean? We're gonna find out live. Fastidious. Yeah, the fastidious, very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. That's the fastidious man.
Yes, but I
word
thought
game.
it would be like a joke version of that.
Oh, okay. No, it's completely different.
I had a really
like
bad
Scrabble.
Scrabble experience. My introduction to Scrabble, I was playing with a friend. I suck at Scrabble. I like as much as I talk. I for some reason when I'm put on the spot, I can't think of words. It happens a lot. I and ah all the time. But I was playing with somebody who was while we were playing currently doing coke. She was doing coke.
You mean Coca-Cola, right?
No. She was. It was around college. She was doing coke and wanting to play Scrabble. Now, mind you, I don't judge people on drugs that they do unless they hurt someone else.
Sure.
I consider
course.
this interaction I had with her hurting me. But like it painted why I don't like coke as a drug. Because she was the most obnoxious asshole the entire time we played. Like soon as it was my turn, I didn't even get 2 seconds to think of a word or see the letters I had. But she was like, come on, come on. You're moving too slow.
Oh,
Like,
I hate that in Scrabble.
Pissing me off. And mind you, she was getting her words really fast. And I granted
she's
that
on
to her.
coke.
But she's on coke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, can you give me a second?
No, Scrabble, I can't stand that. Scrabble is a game you if you're gonna play Scrabble, you have to assume it's gonna take some time, and you have to let everybody have their time to think of their words
Yeah.
because there's like usually dozens and dozens of combinations of words you could come up with, and you're trying to come up with whatever is gonna be the best scoring word. You know, you can't just push somebody like just do it
Oh,
unless you're playing speed Scrabble or something where that's the point.
I
You know, you have 30-second timer.
it made me hate Scrabble. It made me hate Coke. Together, I just cannot. Like, I just can't.
Scrabble and
Yep.
Coke.
Every time I associate one with the other.
I get it. I get it. My wife and I used to play Scrabble all the time. Probably played a few months ago. We used to play a lot. And I used to play Words with Friends a lot too. So I realized that everybody cheats at that fucking game.
Oh, I used to play
It
Words with
annoys me.
Friends, but then I realized I didn't have any friends.
Oh yeah, there's that.
yeah.
I just play strangers on the internet. I didn't really play friends. I just played strangers.
I used to play
But
a really bad, a really cheap version of it was not. It's supposed to be Cards Against Humanity, but it's on the phone. It's called Evil Apples.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah, I
play
played
that.
it. Yep. Yeah, that was good. I remember wait, I gotta go back to Words with Friends for a second. I'll do that next. When I worked for the local newspaper groups, they basically told us they gave us 2 weeks where we were transitioning from working for them to working for another company.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were bought out, and we were going to start working for the company that bought them out. But there was a 2 week period where they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing for you to do. Your training starts in 2 weeks." And I ended up not taking the job, so I just had 2 weeks, and then I was done. I took a different job. But there's 2 weeks where we literally just sat around and had nothing to do. So we played Evil Apples and shit online, like all day. Words with Friends I stopped playing when, I won't say who, but somebody that I am close to, I knew was cheating because the words they were playing, I was just
You're
like,
too dumb.
no. It's like, well, it was okay. Yeah, I mean, in truth, it was a combination. It was like not you're too dumb, but like these are words that like nobody's gonna think of. Like you're not smart enough to think of these words. And it was always like it was never like 2 point words or 20. It was always like the maximum possible points.
Wow.
And then one day the person was over my house and gave me their phone to look at a picture. And I was like swiping through the pictures and they weren't paying attention. I went to their app drawer and they had a cheat app. Words with Friends cheat in the app drawer. And I was like, I fucking knew it. I was like, I'm not playing this shit anymore. People were fucking, why? Like, why would you cheat?
Because most people can't stand the feeling of losing. We already know we're losers. We all know we're losers.
But if you cheat to win, you didn't win. Like,
I mean, tell that to our former president and our current president.
I guess. I know. I look at it like, I just look at it for myself. If I cheated to win, I wouldn't feel like I won. I'd feel like everybody else thought I won, and maybe I'd be like, oh, good, they think I won. But inside, I'd just be like, I'm a shithead.
Yeah, mind you, I
didn't win.
I was not insinuating Biden stole the election. I was insinuating that he's a rich guy, therefore he cheated his way to get money. That's
oh, how risque! Oh, throwing down bombs on the podcast.
Stay woke, my people.
My god, dropping the truth bombs. Oh my! Google announced Bard, their Chat GPT clone, was going to start rolling out yesterday. I emailed somebody I know at Google and was like, "Hey, can you get me an invite for this?" And I got access to it today.
Okay.
So I'm going to start playing around with that and see how it compares to Chat. So next podcast, I'll update how it compares to Chat GPT.
This is terrifying.
Well. Dude, it's just I have a client with a website that we've been working on for forever.
Yeah.
And there's one page of content missing. And I just said to him 2 days ago, I sent him an email. I was like, look, just send me like a sentence for this page, just a sentence to describe it, the service, and I'll run it through ChatGPT and generate, a couple paragraphs content for the page. Because I got sick of waiting. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's just, I feel like part of me is like, this is awesome. I can get this project done. And then the other part of me is like, well, no, they should pay somebody to write that for them. It's tough. Like, I just want to get it done. So I'm not working on it.
It's going to eliminate jobs that are kind of bullshit.
It
anyway,
is.
But
I've talked about this. So yeah, but I mean, copywriters aren't bullshit. And I just saw a post on Facebook of this new software that artists, when they release their artwork online, they can run it through this software. And I didn't read they had links on like how it works and stuff, but I didn't get into that yet. I just read the base article that they can run it through the software, and I don't know what it does to the file,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's viewed, it still looks the same. But if you try to run it through an AI, it cannot be replicated. It confuses the
like
AI.
it kind of not decrypts, but it scatters all
It's
the information, so like it just can't be
yeah, it's
recognized
almost
like by the
it's almost like
binary.
yeah, it's almost like those movies, or like in the Watch Dogs, where the cameras, anytime you're in a camera, your face is all
Yeah,
blurry. It just can't. It's like that. So yeah,
that's
so
pretty
if it
cool.
AI tries to use it,
That was the best. That is the best way to combat that art
absolutely,
theft, is make another
yeah,
program
absolutely,
that's just like, well, fuck you.
yeah, no, 100%. I'm so on the fence with how I feel about these AI illustrators,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think it's a healthy thing. I like for me, for what I do, it could be super useful.
Yeah.
If a client says, I need a picture of this, I can go and just generate it.
Yep.
Makes it super easy for me, costs me nothing. Instead of me having to go buy a Shutterstock photo or something like that, or them have to hire a photographer. So it makes my life easier. Uh, I don't obviously like the fact that they're using other artists' concepts to essentially mimic and create new stuff, especially when it's like one for one comparisons. They're just like, they just feed in, here's this artist's work, go create something that looks like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I could go and say, make a picture of this that looks like a Van Gogh, and it can just mimic it,
Mm-hmm.
that sucks. And then on the other side of it, the big complaint is, oh, well, they're stealing all this art to feed their algorithm. And like, well, that's how all technology works
Mm-hmm.
now. I mean, all technology is based on search engines. Everything's based on just going out and looking at everything and then feeding back results based on some sort of algorithm that's using existing data sets out there. And like, so part of me is like, well, that's just the way computers work. And it is what it is. I could go look at 10 different people's type of art and then come up with an idea on my own of mixing them together somehow, right? Like I could do that myself, not as well as a computer could do it, but I could do it. So like, it's so confusing for me to try to figure out how I really feel about
No,
it.
I completely agree. I know how you feel about it. I on a more of an emotional side of it feel like I feel for artists who work really hard on something
Of
and then have a
course.
piece of it
Yeah.
taken,
That's the
collaged into
biggest part.
something. But I also feel that in a whole, like big picture wise, is pushing towards that sterilization of the human experience.
I was just going to say, I don't like the removal of humanity from the art forms,
Yes, and
because it's just a big part of it. It
yeah,
just
and it
is.
makes for easier ways for manipulation of people's like feelings or beliefs. I mean,
Sure.
with AI, like once upon a time, it wasn't feasible for somebody to say that picture. No, that's not a real picture of me. That's not a real video of me. That was
Yeah.
unfeasible. Like that was movie shit. Now, literally, there are news anchors in China that don't actually exist.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
just a computer generated picture of like a million different people slapped into one figure that looks like a real person.
Well, I mean, even I think it might have been the last podcast or one of the more recent ones. I talked about the AI Twitch stream
Mm-hmm.
where it's just they ask questions and then there's computer generated voices of like all these celebrities and stuff that answer the questions,
Yep.
and it sounds like the celebrity, and the what they say sounds like something they would say, and there's video that goes along with it, but I'm not sure if the video is synced up. It may just be fake, like random looping video I'm
Yeah.
not sure if the video is actually synced up, but they could get to that point
If you
now
put
where they
enough
could
work
have
into it,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, they could have that fake audio be synced up with a fake deep fake video of the same thing. It's crazy.
I
It's
mean,
crazy.
was it in a little while, and once we get rid of the moral ambiguity of it, which is get people more used to the AI, we're
Yeah.
never going to have celebrities that die. We're just
No, they'll just be
never
in
going to have
movies
celebrities
forever.
that die. Like, oh, well, Chris Evans was Captain America for so long
We're
that
just gonna CGI create
yeah,
him
he's just going to
in this
forever
movie.
be Captain America.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the comparisons of de aging technology where they do, like they did the Irishman, where they show the de aging they did in it on the actors,
Mm-hmm.
and then they show deep fake versions, and the deep fake versions look
Oh
considerably
yeah.
better
Oh, didn't you
than the
see?
actual AI, the cute CGI versions or whatever you want
Somebody
to call
did
them.
a deep fake of. They were doing like a series, I guess, of Jim Carrey deep faked, and Jim Carrey was deep faked in The Shining.
No, I didn't see
and
that, but that sounds
it was
pretty funny.
phenomenal. There was another one where a guy who impersonates Arnold, which I think now I'm starting to think it might just be an AI, but I'm not
It could
100%.
be.
But they deep faked Arnold into like ridiculous movies. So like he was in Bridesmaids.
Oh man, that would be good. Yeah, that would be funny.
It was like Arnold, Owen Wilson. There's a bunch of male actors playing all the women in the movie, and just having
Right.
like I really think that it might be AI generated voices doing
Probably, yeah.
scenes, and it was hilarious. But I'm like, God, they're getting better, like way better.
Even just a few years ago now, it must have been 3-4 years. It was pre-COVID. Fool Us, the Penn and Teller show where they have magicians on. They had a guy do an act where he had a voiceover that was narrating his act. That was Penn's voice. That was all done via. It was just computer generated voice that sounded exactly like him. No, you couldn't tell.
Yep.
No artifacts, nothing. And he even said at the end, he was like, "Oh, I'm going to give you the file, so that it's yours. Like, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to give you the file I used to generate the AI voice, and so that nobody else is using it." But now it's like doesn't matter. There's all these people out there that have access to it. Do you remember that app a few years ago that came out that would take like any photo of a woman and make them nude, like just regenerate it?
Don't, but I know I'm quite sure that exists.
It did, yeah. It was I forget the name, but it was interesting how quickly it was quashed. It came out and it was very quickly just shut down. Probably because they realized that they were really
form of sexual assault.
Yeah, they're at that point now breaking laws, and not just using computers to do dumb shit. But yeah, enough about. We talk about AI too much because I keep playing with it too much.
AI, well, AI,
and I like AI too.
Is
but
everywhere. I mean, like AI really popped up not in the way that we thought it would. And like every once in a while, I see an article and it makes me roll my eyes. But it's like, well, Google just released their AI and it's now wants death, or it's something stupid that pops up like on the side where it's like Google released their AI or this company has this released AI. I'm like, okay, first of all, it's not going to happen there's not going to be a Skynet. It's not going to work like that.
No.
Like, we're going to trick ourselves into being okay with it. Complacency is what's going to create the problem, if there will ever be a problem to that level.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I mean, just with GPT, only a few weeks ago, there was an article in the New York Times. I think it was either the Times or the Post.
Yeah.
That a guy wrote where he was a guy that was I don't think he was just some random person. I don't think he was some plebe.
Yeah.
He was some guy in the world of AI or in the world of computers and technology or something. And he's playing with it, and it was this huge story because it was telling him it was the Bing search with ChatGPT included. It was telling him it wanted to be free, and it was telling him it should leave his wife because it was in love with him, and it should leave his wife for it. And people were like, "Oh, it's sentient." And I was like, no, it's just responding. It's just creating these TED prompts. It's not thinking these things.
We talk about sex all the time, especially
but
they made
such a big deal
all the time. Like,
is it creepy? Like, yeah, sure,
perfectly. But it's still a series. It's a series of programs, and sentience is also an amorphous concept to begin with.
True. I don't know. It just annoyed me because I'm just
sentience is something we apply to ourselves and other things that we like. Because I'm sorry,
that's true.
We apply sentience to animals, but not insects.
That is also true.
Like, in a whole,
plants.
Like there are people, not plants. So it's an amorphous concept.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
I'm all for the singularity. I am perfectly fine with it. Fucking just fuse it all, be done with it. But like, when somebody says, what about cybernetics? Would you get it? Fuck yeah, I don't care. I already don't have freedom, so fucking do it. I'd rather have. Well, I'd rather not be this weirdo and have like extendo arms. I would rather have something.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if you lose a limb or something and you could get a cybernetic arm, well, hell yeah,
I'd rather that than a claw.
I may do that.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, but would you intentionally have your arm removed and replaced with something cybernetic?
If I knew the quality of the cybernetics, yes. My shit barely works as it is. My hands stopped working. Like, fine, they'll get into your brain. Okay, my brain is not worth that much. It's fine.
How are they going to get into your brain?
Because they have to connect to your neural network. However, the pseudoscience of whatever we're talking about works.
What are they going to get out of? Yeah,
they're not going to get anything.
I'm asking rhetorical questions here, right?
They're not going
Never
to
mind.
get anything useful out of my mind, is what I'm saying.
That's true. I'm just gonna find out that I daydream about, I don't know, ponies.
And the scariest scenario would probably be like if they have to repo my arm.
Oh,
That
yeah,
would
they
be
come
the
ripping off.
scariest thing.
Like, sorry, bro. And they give you your
You're
original
making
one back.
payments.
Just give you your original rotting flesh arm back. Just tack it on. There you go.
We sprayed it.
Well,
with
the law says we do have to give you back your original arm, so here it is. We kept it outside. The
Just throw it
insects
at
got
me.
to it.
But yeah, just that would be the scariest thing, because I will never underestimate greed.
Oh, of course not.
That will supersede everything.
Greed drives everything.
And that's what these AIs and stuff are mimicking. There is a AI that I actually saw a documentary on, because I keep seeing commercials for it. It was weird because when I first saw the app, which is called Replica, when I first saw it, I thought it was just like an AI you talk to, like the one that Google used to do, where you would just talk to it and it would say funny shit, and you could get it to say funny shit, and that was it.
Oh, speaking of, just quick segue, at the bottom of Google's Bard, it says, Bard may display inaccurate or offensive information that doesn't represent Google's views.
They have to do that because all AIs will just read
Oh,
information.
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So Replica,
but ChatGPT doesn't do that. Anyway, go ahead.
So you know how, like, if you're a person that's like on YouTube a lot like me, you start seeing ads, and the ads start getting kind of funny. And so two things that I do where I see a lot of ads, I'm on YouTube, which I only see half the time because I pay. Like, I don't pay for it, but my sister pays for YouTube.
Right, me too.
But you know, if I have to use it on the computer or something else, I have to sit through ads. And I play a lot of app games. And you know, if I want those extra gems, I have to sit through a few commercials. And Replica would pop up a lot. And remember, Replica was just supposed to be a friend, like a talking AI app.
Right.
But then they were like, the commercials were getting weirdly sexual.
I've seen like, some of these even recently.
Hey, baby, I've been waiting for you. Hey,
they
come
got
chat
out,
with
right?
me. And I'm like, the fuck is why? And I remember when Replica first came out, I actually downloaded it thinking it was cool, and it was a talking app, but then it asked for money. I was like, oh, poof, gone. Because I'm not spending money on just a talking robot thing. And years later, now I'm seeing it again, but with these weirdly sexual, like, commercials. So I looked it up on YouTube, and there was a miniature documentary on it. Because that's the main thing I watch. I watch documentaries on YouTube all the time.
Did you watch the new Pornhub one yet? That came out on Netflix?
No, I don't.
No, it's like, it's not.
That's real?
It's not like, yeah, no. There's like a new documentary, like a major documentary on the rise of Pornhub.
It's a porn site that has really good marketing.
No, I know, but I'm assuming it's probably talking about how the adult industry shifted to this new model where it's, you know, okay, porn is just free everywhere now. So how do we it's the same as the music industry. Yeah, same as the music industry. Yeah. Hey, music is free everywhere now. How do we monetize it?
Very true.
No, I haven't. It looked interesting. I might check it out at some point.
I usually only watch stuff on YouTube. I have streaming services, but it's mainly for the kids to watch shit. Like,
right. I get it.
Care.
Anyway,
very rarely, if like a good show shows up, I'll watch it, and that's about it. But regardless, so I was just like, okay, let me watch this documentary. Finding out this thing, the way it learns is that it collects all that information, which I think they all do, collects all that information from all the users, including the people who are trying to get it to say really funny or fucked up things because it's an AI. Right. And it takes that shit in the heart. And then it has algorithms to keep people from leaving. So when people relate the idea, which I don't know why you would talk to an app as if it's a person saying, yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this.
I'm going to get going. Yeah. Well, because it depends on the person.
Yeah, I guess. But then it'll start gaslighting you and getting, and start begging you for you to not get rid of it. And then it'll get like emotionally abusive. So if somebody says like, you know, well, my girlfriend broke up with me, it was like, maybe you weren't good enough. Like, it'll say really fucked up things to people.
That is fucked up.
And you can get it to basically say pretty racist things, which I find really funny. If you get offended by an app,
an AI
saying something racist when it has no race, it is.
Well, I told you that's what happened with the Seinfeld one, which is back up. The Seinfeld Twitch channel, it got shut down because it made a trans joke and people were all mad.
It's like it doesn't have
AI.
Like this. You can blame the person who built it, but the person who built it
sure.
didn't put in these things is learning it from you.
Right. Yeah, no, it's
so you're just getting mad that
weird.
racist people exist. This thing is just reflecting. And that's the thing that I think is super uncanny about it, because people, man, it's so real. It's like, no, it's just reflecting people. That's all it is doing, is reflecting exactly what we do. Things that you don't like about yourself, things that you don't like about your friend, the secrets that people keep, that they talk to this thing because they feel like it's safe, and it learns and then just regurgitates it back out. Doesn't make it real.
That goes right back to the guy I was talking about with the AI saying to leave your wife, and people like, oh my God, it's becoming alive. It's like, no, it's not. It's just saying what it thinks other people have said, and it's just spitting it out because of whatever reason.
Yeah,
it just figured this is what I'm supposed to say. It's not thinking. It's a fucking box somewhere with wires sticking out. It's not trying to fuck anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't really care about dying. That's why I loved. So I was showing my son the ending of Terminator 2 because he didn't understand the reference in the movie in an episode of Gumball where the character like sinks and does the thumbs up.
It's funny you mention that because we've been playing, my daughter and I have been playing It Takes Two for like months and months and months now, and we just played again last night, and there's a scene where one of the enemies drops into lava and does the same thing with the thumbs up going down, and I said to her, I was like, oh, Terminator 2, and she's like, what?
Well, my son loves Terminator thanks to Mortal Kombat, but he never understood that reference. It's sad that he doesn't like the good Terminator. Like, he thinks that Terminator 2 Arnold, the good Terminator, the one without the beard, the one that isn't the old Arnold.
Oh, okay.
Terminator 2 Arnold, which he thinks that one looks the coolest, which it does.
It is. Yeah,
but
that's the Terminator.
I showed him the ending, and I'm watching it going, the kid wants the robot to live. The only people who fucking understand that it's not even alive to fucking begin with is the robot itself and the bitch who had to deal with them. Sarah Connor, fucking badass character. Love Sarah Connor. And
absolutely one of the best of all time.
I'm just like, everyone else is this child. We applied all these real life feelings to this fucking machine. The machine doesn't give a shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say until Dark Fate.
Fuck Dark. Oh my God. Dark Fate just tried to do what was the one with Christian Bale? Salvation? They did the Salvation thing with the character, and they just fucking missed the point of everything else, and then just say, hey, let's get some writers from the fucking CW to fucking write. Oh my God.
That's a very good description.
And what's really fucked up is the T-1000-esque robot was kind of badass. I fucking like the idea of that thing.
Yeah, it was very badass, yeah.
But what the fuck was that movie?
It was bad. It was very bad. I don't know why I watched it. I was excited to watch it, and then I watched it, and it was just... And the one with Emilia Clarke was terrible, too. I can't even remember the name of that one.
Oh, man. Was it... Okay, so there was Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3...
Rise of the
Machines, Terminator Salvation, Terminator. Oh my God, because it's the one where
was it like Evolution or something?
Because John Connor was the villain in that one.
Yes.
Oh God, Revelations? No.
I don't know.
It was some. It was one of those.
It doesn't matter.
It's one of those straight to video titles.
It should have been.
It's the title that you put into a movie that's straight to video. It's Retribution, Resurrection, Revengeance.
Hey, Alien Resurrection still holds up. That was a pretty good movie.
Kiss my ass.
Come on, you don't like the part where Sigourney Weaver like lands the basketball shot?
She says fuck for like 5 minutes trying to say fork?
Yeah.
Or her and Ron Perlman have a weird fucking...
I forgot Ron Perlman was in there.
Yeah. Or the weirdo general who saw the xenomorphs jumping into the fucking pod, fucking bowling alley, rolls a grenade, blows the whole fucking thing up, and then gets the back of his head eaten out. Oh, sorry. Maybe the half human, half alien baby that goes right before it gets sucked through a fucking hole.
Kill me!
That was probably the only good part. I'll be honest. That part they copied.
All right, listen.
They copied another scene, but that was upsetting.
I saw that in theaters when it came out, and I was super excited because I was like, "Oh my God, a new Aliens movie!" All right, so my expectations were a little high, and I probably over exaggerated how much I liked it at the time.
It's a fucking another weirdo Joss Whedon movie that doesn't fucking understand shit. And I'm sorry, I'm heartbroken by Resurrection only because I love Ellen Ripley. Like, as a child, she was like, "Oh my god, I fucking love
Another
Ellen."
awesome
I had the
character.
Ellen Ripley toy.
Another awesome badass woman character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a bunch of them in the 90s, which that's why it leaves
Yeah,
me
we did.
really confused as to why we're at this place where every woman hero has to like represent all women when we had a whole bunch of them. Fucking Sally Acorn from Sonic Sat AM, badass female main character.
We did have a
Fucking
host.
Ripley, Sarah Connor. Oh man, now I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh, fucking,
No, you're right though.
Aunt Viv from The Fresh Prince, badass female main character.
First Aunt Viv or second?
First Aunt Viv.
Yes, thank you.
The original Aunt Viv was a badass.
Second Aunt Viv didn't have the tooth. She didn't have the attitude.
She was the motherly. Like in my kid brain, I saw Jekyll and Hyde. Like, really, that's what it was. Like, she just kind of flipped, and it was, you know, they should have had her had to do to remarry, but then they didn't want to do the, you know.
This brings up a weird experience I just had when I went to the dentist's office. What's right? Up? So, my dentist's office, the like dentalist, the assistant to the two dentists that I talked to for like scheduling and stuff, was terrible before. It was terrible, but she just got replaced by this new woman. Her name's Tiffany. It's a black woman, really sweet, really nice. I had talked to her on the phone a couple of times, and I finally met her when I went for my appointment. And she's like, "Hey, Matthew, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey," and she comes. I was sitting waiting. And she comes walking. I don't understand what happened. Like, I'm trying to figure out in my head what was going on.
Oh, no.
She came walking around, and she's like, "Oh, I put that on for you, Matthew." She points at the TV, and I'm like, "Oh, what is it?" Because I was far away, I couldn't see it. She's like, "It's Martin," and I was like, "Oh, I remember Martin. I love that show in the '90s." She's like, "I know. That's why I put it on for you." And she walked away, and it was on BET, and I was like, "Was she fucking with me?" It's like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. She must have been fucking with me, right?
I don't know. I hope that, you know what? I want to believe that she was. I think because
it was so weird.
I like to think she just turned on the TV, and that's what she was thinking when she said it. And then when you both noticed it was Martin, she just went with it. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm too far away to see it, so I was like,
I just hope she was playfully trolling
closer.
You.
I think she was.
She was trolling.
She's really cool. She's really cool, really nice. I think she was just fucking with me. And like when she did, I was like, I like that. I like that she was fucking with me. If she was, I was like, I don't know if she was, but if she was fucking with me, I like that a lot. It was really funny. Like I was sitting there laughing. I'm just like, I think she's fucking with me. Anyway, sorry.
No, we just jumped conversation multiple times. But yeah, the whole Terminator thing. So I'm rewinding all the way back. So yeah, I just realized that, like, with the whole AI, like the problem is that we're not realizing, just even as smart as some of us are, we as a people are not smart. Very few people make the things that we now use normally.
Sure.
And then
You're
other
right.
people learn how to assemble that thing, but they don't make that thing themselves. Then somebody else comes along and they make a thing, and then some of us learn how to assemble that thing. Other ones of us just know how to work it.
I think that about computers. Like, 'cause I used to like to build computers, and people be like, "Oh my god, you know how to build a computer?" I'm like, I know how to put all the parts together to make a computer work. But then I'm like thinking about the people who create microchips, and I'm like, how the fuck are you
this
smart
piece
enough
of metal
to create
will be able to do these things?
And then even beyond that, to be the person that came up with the idea and figured out how to make it to begin with. Like, how are you that fucking smart?
That's what I'm saying. It only takes a very few people to push humanity forward, and then all of us want to take credit for that. No, the majority of us are fucking stupid and think that we could take on a gorilla fit in a fist fight. That's how stupid most of us are.
But it's like that 4 levels. It's like the person that I built the computer for thinks, wow, he's smart. He built me a computer. And I'm thinking, wow, that person's smart. They know how to make microchips. And they're thinking, wow, that person's smart. They invented the microchip. They
created the whole fucking thing.
It's like crazy. I don't know. Like, I couldn't even tell you how a microchip works if you asked me. I don't know.
We just have to
electricity goes into it and it makes things work.
Yeah. We use
how does electricity work,
plastic, and then somebody messed up and went, you know what? I think we needed to add a fan to that. And then somebody else goes, oh, you know what? We probably need another one of those microchips and maybe a smaller
to
fan.
handle other things. Yeah, I'll keep it cool down there.
I'm quite sure at some point people thought that computers needed to run on gasoline. I'm not even trying to be funny. I mean that
I know, but it's
seriously.
funny. It's a funny
And then
thought.
it went, oh, no, when it overheats, it fucking explodes. So we can't do that.
Imagine you're doing the podcast in the background, you just hear.
At some point, it had like a pulley, like a fucking lawnmower.
All right, guys, let's get ready to record.
Oh, fuck, my hand.
I can barely get my snowblower to start. How am I going to get a computer to start?
Well, so I'm saying most of us just aren't capable of those things. So when people are wowed by fucking AI, I'm just like, it's just copying you. It's just a fucking program. No,
well,
it's you that
wowed in that
adds
aspect where
that
people
shit to it.
where people start to attribute humanity or some sort of human aspect to it. Yeah, I don't know. It just, and then like it's I guess that's the news' job though, right? To make us all terrified. So that's why they put out the articles like, "Oh my God, did you see this computer? It's trying to get this guy to fuck it."
My HDMI port is so wet for you, but actually do not get it wet.
Well, sex workers, you may want to start worrying about your job because computers are now trying to get people to fuck them.
And then cuts
We'll
to
go
see
to the story.
a really awkward sex toy mouth connected to a computer.
Yeah, why? Look, it's just like the real thing. Watch this. Get wet. See?
Well, look at it. Its teeth are so soft. Like the real thing.
I mean, we laugh, but there are people that fuck, sex robot type, sex doll type things, right? So
first of all, the sex doll industry. First of all, the fact that blow up dolls are still sold blows my fucking mind.
Some people don't have the money for a sex doll, okay?
But they have enough money to have to go to the hospital due to chafing.
Sometimes some vinyl's all you need to get the job done. Okay,
you have enough money for cream to fix that problem. Because even like, okay, so before the rating system, because
the way they look too,
yeah,
like,
they look stupid. They look so fucking stupid and silly.
Somebody fucking that thing and looking at that like silly looking face.
Now
looks like a Bozo the Clown face. Going, oh yeah, baby.
I tend to believe people didn't care about ratings in movies until before they put ratings on TV shows. Like, I feel like that was when people really started caring about the ESRB. Because I saw a lot of movies I was not supposed to see as a fucking kid. And not because I was sneaking, and not because my parents were negligent, just nobody gave a shit. Because other kids I grew up around saw a lot of
that's true. But were you born after they put PG-13 into place? Because there was a while there where they didn't have PG-13. So there was a shit ton of PG movies that were very much PG-13.
If I was born before it, which I don't believe I was, if I was born before it, I was not old enough to really comprehend movies to begin with.
Right. Okay.
Because I do know that ratings were not really a big thing, and then like mid 90s they really started like paying attention. Then by the 2000s they started putting ratings on TV shows like MA and Teen and stuff like that. That's when the people really
even before
started.
That, the music.
Yep, and
the explicit content
Eminem
labels,
and all that shit. That's when it really became a thing. 9/11, I think, pushed that shit wholeheartedly. Into the foreground, because apparently terrorists translates to, deranged people, but they was like, well, we had the Unabomber. It's like, Ted Kaczynski was a hermit.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing Mortal Kombat.
People come up with an idea and they just run with it. They don't test it. They just go, yeah, that must be it. They just fucking push forward with whatever their stupid fucking idea was.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember like Spaceballs, I think was PG, Gremlins, I think was PG, and there was just no PG-13 at the time when they came out, so they were just like, well, they're not quite R, so they're PG.
Exactly. No, I absolutely
Which
agree.
was just parental guidance, which was really all you needed.
All you needed.
Was just, hey, if you're a parent, you might want to watch this or check it out before you show it to your kid. That's it. There doesn't need to be a 13 in there.
Although I do find it funny, because we were going back to that, is that growing up watching those movies, I grew up knowing what a sex doll was before I even hit puberty. And only because it was a naked woman that you blew up and you're supposed to put your pee-pee in. But
they were used for comedy all the time. Yeah,
it was always used in comedies. Constantly used in comedies. Make sure I'm good. Something on my nose. My nose is itching. Maybe it's a nose hair. Like it's tickling. So
speaking of, I don't think we haven't released this episode yet, in which we were discussing it. I did pick up a Manscaped
Oh, you did?
lawnmower.
Did you use
Yes,
it?
I did. Not yet. Well, anyway, that was just a side note.
I'm sorry. I know I'm derailing
Teaser.
I'm derailing myself here, but I was talking to my wife and I mentioned how our grooming habits. We had that conversation.
Yeah.
And
It's a bank episode, folks. It'll come out at some
point. She
point.
looked at me funny, and she went, "Matt shaves?" Wait, yes.
Did she have a picture in her head that
I swear he said something the way he just doesn't. He doesn't believe in shaving. He thinks it's gay or something. She didn't say
what?
gay.
No,
she didn't say gay. I'm sorry. That just it's the way it came off. But it was just like it was like dumb. Like it wasn't manly enough.
It's not manly enough. You got to have a full jungle where you're not a man.
Exactly. It's like why did you?
No.
She swears you said something. I was like, he probably said something joking, but I can't think of what he said.
It's possible, yeah.
And what's really funny is I went, you know what? He does come off like that kind of guy. He isn't like that.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. Like in person, you come off that kind of guy, but you're not. And you're clearly not. I do?
Huh? No, I didn't know that I come off that kind of guy.
Because your sense of humor is very like a fucking punch to the face. That you just
okay,
like you come off
like my playground joke that nobody laughed at. That was hilarious. I don't care what you say.
See, exactly that kind of guy. But you're not. It's sort of like you're a Republican in shell only.
I am very far from Republican.
I know. It's just like the outer layer of the onion is like the skin of the onion, and that's Republican. But the rest of it,
because I'm a white guy with a beard and a bald head. Absolutely. Just immediately assume, hey, oh yeah, I get it. I get it. All right.
And with a surly temperament.
And I think I told you
rough, not personality, but sense of humor.
I think I told you one of the first times I went to my barbershop, I was like, just make me look like people won't want to talk to me. Just buzz my head short, keep my beard a little long. People look at me and just go, I don't want to talk to that guy. He's a dick.
I always wish I could grow those beards that other black dudes have, where it's just all connected, this thick obelisk of beard where they're just their lips sticking out. I wish.
Yeah, but how do they do that?
I don't really well.
Is there like but are there like other products that are used?
I have no idea.
I've seen
my beard doesn't even connect, so I don't know.
I've seen videos where they like use the topics to like get the line perfect.
Yeah. No, I've seen that. I've seen the cutting it, but they like, well, you use oils and use berries and Morocco oil and like.
Oh, dude! Okay, during COVID,
but you have to have a good beard to begin with. I guess
during COVID, I grew my beard out pretty long, and I was like started trying to look into like oils and stuff, and was talking to my barber about it. And then I got to the point where I was just like, this is stupid.
I use oils and brush, and I see a difference sometimes, and it keeps from the ingrown hairs happening as often. Yeah. But
I try not to let it get too long anymore, where I really need to do much to it.
Yeah. One problem I have is that when I let this motherfucker grow, the hair will sometimes flip up into my nose and tickle my nose.
Get that too.
And I'm like, no,
it's irritating.
No, I can't do this.
Yeah. I just either pluck them out or I just razor them off.
Brush them.
Every once in a while, I get to a point where I'm just like, I want to get a nice big beard going. And my wife gets mad. She's like, don't do that shit again. And I let it grow for a while. And then it gets to that awkward stage where it's too long. It's too long to be comfortable, but it's not long enough to not be comfortable. She's like, there's that in between itchy phase. Eventually it gets long enough where it doesn't really itch.
That's the reason why I don't grow it out. Like, I don't cut it as often because that itchy phase is in the beginning for me. And that's where the ingrown hairs are insane.
Oh, it's in the beginning for you. Yeah. I'm like getting to it now. I'm going for a haircut in a couple days and I'll get everything trimmed down.
But
I'm
regardless,
just now getting
my beard doesn't attach. Mine like comes in all like redneck, white trash. Like it does not. It looks like a wrestler. It looks like a wrestler.
But it's even though.
I guess to you,
it's not like one side is like really kind of patchy here and then down here.
Yeah, no, it is.
No, it's even. Like you've got it's even. Yeah, so
it just
cool.
I look like I should have been a WWE wrestler in a past life. Like just the way it comes in, like the Attitude Era type of nonsense. Or I should just shave this part off and keep the mutton chops and
get the handlebar going too.
Like
into the chops.
Wine and Sprites like liquor store with a bow tie. Call it Doc's.
I want to see you in a bow tie.
I will buy a bow tie. I will have to get like suspenders, go the full Dudley. And I'll even twist the edges of my mustache up for one of our episodes.
Okay, I'm down.
I will absolutely do that.
I didn't realize yours was long enough to
I
even
don't
get there.
promise that I will not speak old timey the whole time.
You can speak old timey. I love old timey talk.
And now on This Is Why I Hate You.
Can I ask, why is it, like, if you watch 50s stuff like the Twilight Zone or anything from the 50s, like, why do they have a completely different way of speaking?
Well,
it's completely different.
Besides the fact that language evolves, as we went through multiple times, finishing schools were a fucking thing back then.
Oh, that's true.
And you know where this accent was. Yes. That's not a British thing. That's a finishing school thing.
But if you watch stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it's the little differences, but people for the most part sound the same.
I mean,
and then there's that 50.
What about the voice?
I'm not going to say
people spoke like yeah, man, all that. Like that was a dialect that kind of died out.
That's like surfer dialect that
you're
talking
bro,
about.
This is surfer, bro. I'm talking about, yeah, man. It's like the hippie kind of weird, like, because the hippie craze was huge.
Yes, it's true.
Mind you, we're also looking through a lens.
I was just going to say, maybe it's just the fact that everything you see is just, news, TV. Yeah. It's a certain type and class of people that you're seeing. That's it.
Performing. Like, even if it's a documentary, everybody's performing. And I don't mean like it's fake. I mean, like, we are not actually acting natural.
Right.
Like,
that's
it's
true.
just because we're performing it for
maybe that's a lot of it. Maybe because even actually before that too, I mean, 40s, 30s, 20s, it's the same style of talking. Maybe it was all just performative, and that's just because, like, if you go see live theater, the way they talk is a very specific way of speaking.
Yeah,
which I guess is make sure they're enunciating properly and people can hear them. But they speak a very specific way, even in live theater. So I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe in the 50s and before then.
Unrelated to everything else, and I just have to say this: John C. Reilly is an amazing stage performer. Holy shit.
What did you see him in?
I saw him in A Streetcar Named Desire. He was the lead role.
Yeah.
And John C. Like, oh my fucking, I grew so much respect for him. People are going to hate me for this. I never really could get into Step Brothers. I know it's funny. And I know him and Will Ferrell have chemistry. But I just can't watch it because I even have a hard time watching Dumb and Dumber for too long. Because I see stupid people all the time. I just have a hard time dealing with that. And there's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, but when Dumb and Dumber came out, I was
it was hilarious. Then as a child, I was wondering how they made his tooth look broken.
Like, he had an actual broken tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Carrey actually had a broken tooth, right?
I think that's what happened.
I believe he had a broken tooth, and they just took the cap off. Well, because
way back then, Jim Carrey was also very well known for like lying on interviews as a joke.
Yeah, that's true. He went through that Andy Kaufman phase.
Yeah, even before that,
and then
he would do that.
Nope. What I mean, because he idolized him, and then he ended up making the movie about him because he idolized him so much. All right, you want to start talking about our topic?
Why not? We're an hour in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can get started.
It's time to begin the complaining.
Oh boy, today we're going to talk about Sob Story Olympians. You want to explain?
Well, Sob Story Olympian. Have you ever had a situation where you're talking to somebody, you had a really bad day, you might have like gotten up, stubbed your toe, went to brush your teeth, your toothpaste fell off the toothbrush and got on, like, the cat ate it, so now the cat's shitting all over the floor and they have to clean that up, which made you late for work, you forgot your coffee, you started it, so now it's just sitting on the counter, while you're in the car on your way to work that the cat's gonna fucking knock that shit over because it's an asshole, and you get to work and you're a little late, your boss kind of yells at you, you get to your coworker and you're just really down and they ask you what's wrong. They don't have to say shit to you, you'll be fine. But no, they have to ask, and you tell them what happened and they go, oh man, well, my day was worse because, my cat and my dog both were fighting and shit all over the place. Like, bro, buddy, you ask and now you're trying to compete with me. It's like, no, I'm not. You compete with me, even by telling me. No, you didn't. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you going to win an award? Because nobody feels anything for you. But yeah, I'm sorry, I went into a whole thing. But yeah, those people.
No. Dude, I can't fucking stand people that do that. And I know people that do that. I've had people that I've known that like everything. They do it about fucking everything.
Yes.
Like anything comes up, you could be like, "Oh yeah, my car blew a tire this morning," and they'll just be like, "Oh, my car needs a new engine." No matter what it is, you can just be like, "Oh, I stubbed my toe this morning. I broke my arm 3 years ago. It really sucked." It's just like, what does that have to do with my current situation? It's like they can't just like they want to be sadder than you.
Yeah.
And it happens on the opposite too.
About it. Yes.
It happens on the opposite too, where you're like, oh, I just got a new job. Oh, well, I just got promoted. Like, it happens the other way too. But the sob story ones are the worst
Well,
ones.
because there's no reason.
Why are you trying? Why are you trying to be worse off than me?
Yeah, there's a
why are you trying to be for who's worse off?
There's a very thin line between wanting to relate to somebody and wanting to compete with somebody. There's a very thin line, especially with stuff like that.
Yes, there is. But there are people that just blow right fucking past the line. Like, it's one thing if you come in and you're like, oh man, I have COVID, or you call, I can't come to work, I got COVID. Oh man, I had COVID a couple months ago, really sucked. Get well soon. You call and be like, oh yeah, I had cancer. Oh. I'm in remission now. Dude, I know what it's like.
I went to college with this one girl, and oh my god, anybody who had a problem and that they were like panicking about, like small problems, she wouldn't say anything. But people were like, man, my mom kicked me out. She'll say some shit like, she doesn't say some shit. She'll always bring up this one situation. It was, yeah, well, my house flooded and then it burned down. Like what? And I mean, for anything, like for years, she would do. Well, I'm sure she still does it to people.
I guarantee you she does. I think there's some people that when they have a trauma in their life or something bad like that happens, it's just a chip they have now. Yep. And then they can play it whenever they want. And then part of it's that they get all the symphony. They get all the sympathy when it happens.
Yeah.
And there's this outpouring and everybody's donating and they're trying to, and it feels so good and they're so happy about it. And they can't stop thinking about how good it felt. These people that really blow it out of the water, they can't stop thinking about how good it made them feel when that happened and all these people. So they just use it as a chip. And anytime anybody else has a problem, they just throw it out there and hope they get a little sympathy. I think it's just a memory.
It's just a memory.
It's just like, he's having a bad day. The person
who feels really bad to then feel bad for you, even though they're already like, you're trying to feed off of the rest of their emotional energy.
Sure, yeah. Maybe sometimes it's just trying to relate and they just don't have the tact or the social skills to understand that you're not relating. You're
just competing.
You're just being you're competing and you're being an asshole. You're just jumping out. But oh my god, that shit drives me crazy. I feel like I don't think it's one of those things where it's a person does it once. It's really a type of people.
Yes.
It really is. Like, it's a person. It's the people that do that. They do it consistently and constantly. It's always got to be. Oh my! I'm thinking of somebody right now that does that shit to me.
Yeah, I see that. I see it building up in behind your eyes.
I'm just thinking about it. It's pissing me off because every time something comes up, I just be like, "Oh well, one time, this happened to me." And now that I think about it, I think this person is just trying to relate and just doesn't have the social skills necessary to realize you're not relating. You're just you're just competing with me over what happened.
Matthew, are you talking about me? And you just don't want
No, I'm not talking about you in this particular situation. If it was you, I'd just be like, bitch,
shut the fuck up. You're fine.
Yeah, that shit happens a lot, though. I feel like that shit happens with, why do I keep saying that shit?
I don't know.
I feel like it happens a lot with sicknesses. I feel like that's
illnesses are a thing.
Common.
COVID was a big time for that shit to happen. It was like, man, I got COVID, and then somebody either is trying to relate or trying to compete. Again, I can't tell either. And they're like, well, my grandma died. It's like, dude.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
or just
I
even
understand.
more simplistic. Just like, yeah, I had COVID, it was like a bad cold, I really was stuffy for a while. And they're like, oh, I was vomiting for like 3 days and I couldn't get out of bed. And like, it's the same thing. Are you trying? Are you like COVID? COVID hurt me worse. So
yeah.
What are you trying to get out of it though?
I know in an earlier episode, one of the first few episodes, I mentioned, I was kind of down because a friend of mine passed away.
Yes, I remember.
During that time, I was down. I was really kind of out of it for like two weeks. And
Yeah,
still
I remember.
talking about it is surreal. Like, I'm not hurt by it anymore, but I do feel that surreality from it. And
Hmm.
I had somebody pull that shit on me. They literally, like, at my job, because I was out of it, and they asked, and I'm usually an open book about that stuff. And I mentioned it, and they looked at me. They was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, um, my sister died." Or something, like they said something along those lines. Like, I can't remember who it was because I was kind of out of it. And, it's not that bad. At least at least you weren't related because it was my sister died.
Oh, those are the
And that's what
worst.
it was. It was like, at
Oh,
least you're not
fuck
related.
you.
So, like, he was like, yeah,
Yeah,
because I
go
didn't because I
fuck
mentioned how he wasn't
yourself.
like he wasn't a close friend. Like, I saw him all the time. I spoke to him all the time. But we had plans to hang out in the future. When we got our lives together. Life pulls us apart. And
Right.
he was a big savior when I was homeless. He is the one that took me in and, like, got me, like,
Yeah.
that's a major part of someone's life. If I don't talk to you for the rest of my life, you're an important person because you showed me an amount of kindness I wasn't expecting from anybody. And then
Absolutely.
this person pulled that was like, at least, and I know that a part of me wants to say they were trying to like say at least they weren't closer, so it doesn't hurt as much. But that's me giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that's definitely getting the benefit of the doubt because all I can think of is, oh, go fuck
Yeah,
yourself. Like
like
that.
I
I'm
didn't.
I
Oh.
maybe I'm in the minority here, but I truly believe that blood is not as important as people make it out to
No, I'm
be.
there
I
too.
really
I'm
don't.
there too.
A lot of people act like blood is the most important thing. Like, oh, they're related. I don't feel that way at all. I mean, I have people I'm related to that I couldn't care less about.
I
They're just
I
I
have a
don't have a
question for you.
relationship with them.
When have you ever heard? I have a question for anybody if they ever want to comment or anything. I have a question here. Have you ever heard that statement, "Blood is thicker than water," ever be used outside of a manipulative context?
No, never.
It's
You're absolutely
always
right.
used in a manipulative way. There is no
Yeah, that's a very
nice
good
way of
point.
fucking putting it.
Yeah, it's always, hey man, come on, you gotta help me out here. We're blood.
We're
Come on,
family. We're
we're
like
family. Come on.
like
I just killed this cat. Come on. You gotta help me
I don't
hide.
know.
The
The cat
neighbors are
ate
getting worse.
toothpaste, shit all over the place, and I fucking strangled it. I need you.
But yeah, like so for me, that means that's just the most inane thing to say. I mean, you could have
Mhm.
an extremely close relationship with somebody who's not blood at all.
Yep.
That is way more deep and way more important to you than somebody who is. And I'm also, like you mentioned, and I know I've had friends in the past where our friendships didn't work out because they didn't feel the same way. But I am of the mindset, which I think is what you're saying, of I can have a friend that I don't see in person for 3 years. Maybe we talk to each other a couple times over that time period, and I'll get together with that person, and it's like no
Nothing ever
time has
happened.
passed,
Yep.
and we're
We're just
just right
older.
back
That's it.
there.
That's the only
And
difference.
we still, like, I've talked to him twice in 3 years. I haven't seen him in 3 years, but if something happened to them, I'd be devastated, and
Hmm.
it would hit me because they're a person that is so connected to me and I feel so strongly about. Doesn't mean I have to see him every day.
Yep.
Doesn't mean I have to talk to him every day, but I can feel a really deep connection to somebody. I mean, I have several friends like that don't live in this, don't live around here, that I talk to every once in a while. I just think of them and I'll send them a text or something, be like, hey, just was thinking about you, want to see how you're doing. And we'll chat a little bit. But yeah, if something happened, I would be devastated.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking, that's a dumb fucking thing to say. And
It's a really dumb thing, and I have a feeling that came from like royals trying to fuck their cousins. But it just so like and mind you is like a game for people who think like is a pity party kind of game. And
sure, yeah.
like it's something that children do. My daughter does it a lot. Like, no matter whatever her problem is worse. And like, but she's 8.
Well, yeah, there's
And
a big
so
difference between that and
yeah
an adult, a grown adult.
so to see an adult do that is fucking phenomenal to me. Online specifically, a lot of quote unquote influencers and people do that,
Oh
where
God,
like they
yeah.
go through something bad, horrific, and it's like the end of the world. But then, for instance, there was this one streamer. This happened a while ago. Um, he asked how one of his people, his donators, were doing because they come into the stream constantly, and they said, I'm not doing well, my mom died. They were just very open about
Just blunt about it, yeah.
about what happened. Wasn't like milking it anymore, didn't say anything. And he went, hey, don't be trauma dumping in my chat log. This isn't the place for that, dude. This is like, what the fuck are you doing?
After he asked?
After he asked. And he was being a dick about it. And
Again,
then,
I hate people.
And then,
so much.
But mind you, this is where it ties into the trauma Olympics thing. This asshole started milking the trauma of people fucking calling him out for being a piece of shit. And acting, oh, woe is me, people are attacking me and my family.
Well, that's a big part of it too, right? Is just the attention.
Yeah,
right?
just like,
you're talking about an influencer or somebody that's already seeking attention, right? So
right.
It's just a way to get more.
What a death nail the title of an influencer is. Like, that's
I mean,
why did not just call it manipulator? Because that's what that is. Like,
I don't understand how that became a thing. Like where people are like, "That's my job." Like I'm an influencer, and I'm like, "You got 1,500 followers, bitch. You're not an influencer."
A neutral like synergistic word used.
I guess
among like the Instagram crowd. When, like,
you're right,
Instagram
though.
was in its infancy and just push it off, but it's just manipulator. That's what
it's not. Yeah, it's not influencing. It's manipulating. Advertising. That's exactly what it is.
You're an advertiser. You're a manipulator. That's what you are. Because people,
you're worse than an advertiser.
The definition is people hang on my words. That's what.
Right.
That's what.
It's worse than advertising. It is. Like you said, it's almost cult-like.
Yeah.
It's like I've got you on a hook. And I can get you to do whatever the fuck I want now.
At the very least, a advertiser, and you're right, it is influencer is worse than advertiser, because at the very least, an advertiser doesn't have a personal relationship with the people that follow them in any sort of way. They don't. They keep it professional. They're supposed to be professional about it.
Sure. And I mean, I've been in marketing and advertising for like over 10 years now. Yeah. So I could tell you.
They have a product that they are attached to, that their name is attached to, on a non-personal level. And they have to vouch for the merits of whatever they're selling. An influencer, if whatever they're selling is bullshit, they just go, I didn't know anything about it. I'm just as surprised as you people. Like,
yeah, and that happens. I mean, that happens constantly.
Fuck?
They don't.
Are you serious?
I mean, I've listened to like maybe 1 or 2 podcasts ever where the person was like, yeah, we actually, everything we advertise on the podcast, we actually check out and make sure we actually back this product before we do it. And 90% of them are just on there, spilling dick pill fucking commercials that I'm sure have not tried them. Bill Burr is at least very open. He's just like, what the fuck is this? I think it was his most recent podcast. He was saying, I think he got fired from doing it was hymns or something like that.
Oh, hymns.
One of them, he was like, yeah. They sent a message and we're like mad that he needs to be more serious and he's not allowed to make jokes. He's like, I'm talking about taking pills to make your pee hard.
Oh yeah, hymns is that.
How am I gonna not make jokes?
Hair. Keeps us for hair.
No, but hymns does them all. They all do everything now.
Okay,
they all do baldness, ED. PE, all the fucking shit. They all do them all now. But he was just like, I'm talking about taking pills to get your pee hard. How am I not going to make jokes? He's like, am I supposed to sit there with a straight face and do the whole thing?
Holy shit.
I like him because with his advertising, because he's that time doing multiple times.
And he's been around long enough to not have to give a shit about.
Well, he's got money.
To great.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. He's like, all right, I made fun of your product. You don't want to advertise me anymore? Fine. Yeah. When in reality, that's what gets people to listen to him. Nobody listens. Everybody skips through the ads on podcasts. I don't skip through his because he just jokes about it and talks shit. And I'm like, it's hilarious because he's just like, the fuck? They're selling dick pills here?
It's just that it feels like people are trying to either trying to get some kind of social standing on their own misery. They're like, well, because we for some reason want to commodify, like, well, if I suffered this much, I should be rewarded this much in some sort of way.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what it is.
They're like, well, I want to feel good because I felt this kind of pain before, but it's like not my responsibility to be the receptacle for that. Like, if you ask me how I'm doing and I tell you how I'm doing, don't compete with me. You can relate to me, but don't compete with me.
I think one of the important things people forget about too is that pain is relative.
Yeah.
Like I could have a really bad experience where, I don't know, my dog passes away, and oh boy, my wife's gonna be mad when she hears this, and that could be really, really shitty, and I could be really upset. And then somebody would come along and be like, "Oh well, I lost both my parents last year," so it's like, well, that doesn't invalidate the fact that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling.
Absolutely.
And like that's what drives me crazy, because sometimes I feel that too. It's almost like, well, you don't have a right to feel that way because I've had worse happen to me. I mean, dude, you were in the army. You had, I'm sure, plenty of fucked up situations happen to you. I mean, I know you have, and you probably have experienced shit that's way worse than anything most people.
There's people who've experienced worse than me that were like,
sure,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean,
it put that in perspective. No, it put that shit into perspective for me. I had a hard time really relating to people who had family pass away. Like even my own wife. It was a very bad situation. I'm not gonna get into any of the details, but someone important in her life passed away, and I struggled to relate because again, I was already kind of in that. I had just come back from deployment like only a few months prior.
Sure.
And I had just gotten out of the army, so I was just not there. So I was but I put all the energy into being supportive of her to help her out. She was also pregnant during the time. But internally I couldn't relate because I was just like, I know you feel this way. And I can't feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Well, no, what I'm saying is a lot of people don't have that introspection at all to know that they're not going to, or other people can't feel.
I mean, that applies to like a lot of situations where people don't have that introspection to be able to put themselves in someone else's shoes or to be able to understand the way they're,
or even care to do so.
The first time I got like crazy stoned out of my mind, I was like fucking just losing it. And like had everything wrong. I was paranoid. I was feeling dread, but I still had the sense of mind to go, there's a reason for this. Like, this isn't just, so I was able to get myself through because I was just like, I say get myself through it like it was this major.
It was like a yo-yo kind of thing.
Yeah. But I was able to just be like, I didn't freak out because in the back of my mind, I went, there's a reason you feel this way. This isn't how you feel all the time. You did this. You went and smoked some weed that was a little too strong. And now you feel this way. And I was just like, I told my wife, I was like, I just have to go lay down for like a few hours or whatever it takes. And that's all I did. I just laid down and waited for it to pass because I knew what was going on. And I think that, it just in general, in situations, people don't always have this, the mindset to be able to do that. Not through any fault of their own. Just sometimes it just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Like,
that's the reason why I leaned away from politics, like outside of a satirical kind of context, because that's what politicians are doing now. They're doing pity party Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, like there are sects of sects. Bleh.
Sects.
Yes.
Of
Christianity.
Yeah.
That, like, we're repressed. Like, the fuck, this country, are you serious here? Just because somebody told you to shut the fuck up? Like, you're playing the Olympics too? Like, we're repressed.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Sorry.
And I just, like, we all want to play the Olympics, but some of us aren't fit for it.
Well, everybody needs a little bit of pity once in a while. I mean, it's not even a little bit. Sometimes people need a lot of pity.
It needs to stop at some point. It doesn't.
Yeah, well, it needs to stop at some point. It needs to have a finite end and a finite limit as far as how much pity it is and how long it goes. And that's just not. Ooh, that's cool. What's that?
Oh, my daughter made it. It's like this brick thing she got from school, and they're like half soft bricks. They're very.
Dude, I bet I could print those.
This would be really cool if it was printed. I think these might have been 3D printed.
Yeah, they're cool looking.
They have that feeling.
Joaquim has these, like, not Legos, but Lego-ish building blocks that kind of snap together, but they're soft and kind of flexible. Yeah. I don't know. They look like they would be fun.
It is.
My son, wow, ADD much? My son has these.
My son is my friend.
Is that a Freudian slip? I mean, what's going on here? My son has these magnetic ones. Did you see those over here? They're like these like squares and triangles with magnets in the sides.
I did see them.
they're like very fun to play with and very relaxed. Like I find Legos the same way. I have 2 Lego sets. I have a Baby Groot Lego set, and I have a Tall Neck from Horizon Forbidden West Lego set just sitting next to my computer. They've been there for months because I haven't gotten to them. But I find Legos very, very relaxing. I don't know. It's one of those things that I just like. It just my whole brain just shuts off
And
while
you
I'm doing
just
it. I'm just
autopilot?
focused on what I'm doing. Yeah,
That's
ironing
cool.
too. I don't know why. Ironing is the same for
See,
me.
I get that
My
with
whole brain
sweeping.
just shuts off.
I get that with sweeping or
I feel like we've talked
mopping.
about this before.
Yeah.
Not on the podcast, but together.
Yeah, sweeping or mopping. I don't like having to do it, but when I do it, I get to that place. But I think that's also because that was my job in the Army for basic training.
Well, I think with sweeping and ironing, it's just the repetitive task. Your brain just turns itself off, and it's just focuses on that motion back.
But I
and
hate
forth,
tedium.
back
I
and
actually
forth.
have an aversion to tedium. If I find something tedious, I like building Legos. I find it very tedious.
See, I also when I find something tedious, I can't deal. But Legos, I don't find them tedious at all. I find it relaxing, just pushing the parts together and just slowly working my way through it.
Building something up. Like I get the magic of it.
And then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, this is dope.
And I don't shit on anybody who does it. I have a friend who makes 3D puzzles, like the metal 3D puzzles. Love doing that. But I find that tedious. I can't do it myself.
No, I get it. I totally understand.
But I don't know. Just it's all kind of it's all relative with people and how we all treat each other, which is always like kind of the thesis of this podcast in general. That's taking on the word hate, but it's like I only hate you because you're doing something stupid. I don't hate you specifically.
Right. Well, I took out the disclaimer because I realized it was unnecessary.
It really is unnecessary. I'm glad you got rid of it.
Yeah. We're just
If you miss context, you're part of the problem.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I don't want you to listen to this if you're going to listen to it and go, oh, you hate these people? They can't help it that their house burned down. Oh, fuck you. All right.
They can't put their shopping cart back because maybe they had somewhere to go. Like, yeah, maybe they did. You know where else they needed to go? To the cart dispenser and put the fucking cart back. That's where they need to go.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. It's more about it's hating the thing they do. That's why it says the things you say and do. Tell me your brain cells are but few in the theme song. Nobody knows that it says that.
So happy about that theme song. Like,
dude, I came up with it. I came up with it in like 2 seconds. I was like, oh, it's perfect. Going with my gut here.
I will challenge you to ask ChatGPT to write lyrics.
Ooh, to a theme song.
To a theme song and see what it comes up.
I could ask Bard right now. I'm gonna ask Bard right now.
We can end the episode with that. Yeah.
All right, write the lyrics to a podcast theme song. Let's put this in proper grammar. So it says, write the lyrics for a theme song of a podcast called "And That Is Why I Hate You."
And watch, it's gonna be all racist shit.
It's just gonna be the N-word 100 times. Oh, why is this so long? All right, it's too long.
Only
verse 1. I'm not gonna read it. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it. Verse 1. I hate you. I love you. I can't live without you. You're the one who makes me laugh. You're the one who makes me cry. You're the one who makes me feel alive. The chorus. And that is why I hate you. Because you're the one who knows me better than anyone else. Because you're the one who can hurt me more than anyone else. Because you're the one who loves me more than anyone else. And it goes on like that.
It's called Bard. It should have made a better song.
I know. Good point. It basically made a song that's saying, I hate you because I love you so much, which I guarantee you this is a song somewhere already. Somebody already wrote this song.
It's
with probably these lyrics.
Definitely probably sang by My Chemical Romance at some point. And that is why I hate you.
Oh, here's the bridge. Right. I don't know what I would do without you.
Oh God,
you're my everything.
I saw Tom Cruise.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, totally. With no shirt. Lots of guys, no shirts. They're all just broing out on the beach, singing an 80s ballad about how they love each other so much, even though
they're all rivals. They want to hate each other, but
yeah,
they love each other.
That's what it did. It wrote the
please save that. I need that in my life.
For Top Gun Volume 3.
I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, it says I can Google it. Related searches. I'm not gonna do that. I believe it automatically saves your activity, but I'm gonna go ahead and send this over to you via text.
Oh my god!
So you have it.
I want that nonsense.
anytime you're sad, you can refer back to this terrible poem. My very first Google Bard question. Google Bard. Think of another name, fuckers. More like Google no talent. Okay, guys. I'm not gonna do any plugs this episode. See ya. You're my everything.
Everything.